Hello, crafty friends. I'm Lean from Studio Kato, and I am so happy to be back with another video. Today, I am joining the Alex Syberia Designs YouTube hub, and I really like the card I made, but mostly I liked the process of making it. It's been a while since I've colored some florals, and I had a lot of fun with these. Now, this video is part of a YouTube hop and giveaway for Alex Syberia Designs' new release, so stay tuned for the information on how to win some of those gift cards. Now, I am using the Wrapped with Love stamp and die set, and that is all I am using. Well, obviously, I'm using some basics, but I'm not pulling in a bunch of other dies. I'm not using separate sentiments. This is just all included in that one stamp and die set. I really, really like this set. There's a reason I use it for the hop. Now, I am stamping this floral in the corner of an A2 panel, and I'm then just flipping my card 180 degrees to stamp it again in the opposite corner. And I am going to do some coloring that I like doing, but maybe that's not for everyone. The good news is you can color this however you like. So I really, really like colored pencils. However, I don't have the patience for them because coloring with colored pencils means that you spend ages just making sure there is no white showing anymore. And instead, I like to just color the first layer in alcohol markers, because that's really quick and you can easily color over it, do your shading over top of it with colored pencils, and then you still have that beautiful texture that colored pencils give without having any of the white show through, because now the colors are already pink and the leaves are already green. I think it's the best of both worlds. Now, was this coloring quick to do? No, because I am out of practice, and also I just like to take my time with coloring. I don't know if other people do this faster. I just like to sit down, color, watch a TV show while I'm doing it, or listen to some music. I take my time with it. I am not going to show you the whole process, and what I'm showing you is sped up. I think I spent almost an hour coloring this panel. Maybe I'm slow, maybe that's the normal speed. I don't know anymore. All the YouTube videos are sped up too, so I don't know. Who knows how long coloring actually takes, but I enjoyed this hour coloring this panel. Now, about that giveaway. So Alex Syberia Designs is giving away 4 $15 gift cards to 4 lucky winners. All you have to do for a chance to win one of those gift cards is to leave comments on each stop of the hop. So you can find all of that information in the description below, along with the links to the videos that are part of the hop. So just click through to the next one once you're done watching mine, and leave a comment on, I think, who's next? Is it Martin, maybe? There are some really good guests. So yeah, next up is Martin. Before me, it was Leah Lawson. So yeah, there's some great designers taking part in this hop today. So make sure to check out their videos for more inspiration using these new products from Alex Syberia Designs. Even just watching myself color this panel while I'm editing this video and doing the voiceover is sort of relaxing me. I really, really like coloring with colored pencils. There's something about colored pencils in specific that I love, because there's absolutely no rush. Like with watercolor, you have to make sure your paint is never dry while you're still coloring one area. Otherwise, it's just not smooth. And with alcohol markers, you kind of want to rush, because blending the colors together is easiest when you're doing it quick and when the alcohol marker isn't fully dried yet. So you're always sort of rushing through the colors. With colored pencils, you can take a break whenever you want. Come back to it in 5 minutes or in 5 hours, and it's not gonna matter. It's going to be just as easy to blend the colors out. And like I mentioned before, I just love the texture of coloring with colored pencils. You can tell that it's pencils that you colored with, and markers sometimes almost look printed out or stamped on. And I don't know, sometimes I just don't want it to look perfect. I want it to look a little bit textured. I want it to have some uniqueness to it. I feel like markers sometimes don't have enough personality. Does that make sense? Now I'm going to put this panel back in my MISTI and stamp the outline again over top of my coloring. This is going to just be a brighter black. This is a pigment ink, VersaFine Onyx Black. It is the blackest ink I own, and it's just going to look a lot nicer that way. It always stamps perfectly for me, so I just like to finish it off with that ink. I never use it for alcohol markers because it's gonna smudge and it takes ages to dry, so even with colored pencils it's not the greatest fit unless you leave it to dry overnight. So yeah. Now this beautiful bow frame is also part of this same Wrapped with Love stamp set, and it is so fun, but it's also one of those frail floppy stamps because it has long narrow sections, so it's really hard to stamp this out in a way that it's going to fit inside of your die later when you're trying to die cut it. So to help with that, I like to just put my die down and line the stamp up inside it. It just slots into place. It might not be exactly perfect, and especially because I'm doing heat embossing for this, and that is going to warp my panel a little bit. The die cutting might not be perfect, but all of the frame is visible inside of my die cut. And that would not have been possible if I had just eyeballed how to put this frame on straight onto my panel to stamp it. So yeah, using the die to help line up your stamp is really helpful for these large floppy stamps. I don't know, floppy is a weird word, but you know what I mean. So I've stamped this in Versamark ink, and then I heat embossed it in a gold embossing powder from Wow. I really like this embossing powder color, but I forgot what it's called. So it's a really nice one. You'll just have to trust me. And then I'm going to use the Wrapped with Love sentiment and also heat emboss this one. I've done a lot of heat embossing today, actually, also for my other project. I'm just going to heat emboss this onto Sprout cardstock from Conquer the Ninth. This really matches the green of my leaves perfectly. And I really like using a colored sentiment strip instead of white and black. I don't know, it looks softer and it looks more like it belongs with the card. It looks more cohesive. So I heat embossed the sentiment in white heat embossing powder onto Sprout cardstock from Conquer the Ninth, and then it's time to assemble my card. I'm going to glue this panel onto a top folding white note card, but I did stamp that in that VersaFine Onyx Black ink, which I did heat set, but VersaFine Onyx Black is a very smudgy ink. Usually I heat emboss it just to make sure that I don't smudge it. So that's why I put that scrap piece of paper over top of it while I was pressing it down to glue it in place. So I didn't smudge it. And And right, I am going to stack up some extra frame die cuts behind the stamped frame, which I did also color a little bit. I just gave it a little bit of a beige color with alcohol markers and again shading with colored pencils. I tried to film that and I realized I pressed the wrong button and instead ended my recording, so oops. But yeah, it was just the same type of coloring as I did for the flowers. So I added some dimension with additional layers behind that, glued it into place, and then all that's left to do is add the sentiment, which I also cut an extra layer for. I used that same sprout cardstock. You could just do white. Not sure why I used colored cardstock instead today. I just felt like it, I guess. And I added some foam tape behind that as well to prop it up just a little bit. This is pretty thin foam tape. Yeah, once that's aligned nicely, I am going to finish this card off with a couple of embellishments and then it'll be done. I really love the colors on this card. The green is a little bit softer than I usually do, and the pink is a lot brighter and a lot cooler than I usually use. I usually use a slightly more warm pinks when I'm coloring flowers. So yeah, this is not the color combo that I'm used to, but I really like how it turned out and I might use it again soon. I really like how this card turned out, and all I used was one new stamp and die set from this new release from Alex Syberia Designs. I hope you like this card. I hope you liked the video. If you did, make sure to leave a thumbs up on this video and leave your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to check out all of the rest in this YouTube hop for more inspiration and for a chance to win one of those 4 gift cards. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!